Who is to blame for when it comes to porn and the porn addiction that is sweeping over the West and specifically the USA? Is it men or is it women? Now, I can say the politically correct answer in saying that, well, it's both their faults. It's not going to be just one's fault, you know? They're both equally contributing to the problem. But I'm not going to say that. I will say it is not as easy as just saying, oh, it's the men's fault that porn is such a huge problem. And it's not as easy as just saying vice versa, that it's just the women's problem, that it's women who made porn the problem in the West. That's not the case, I don't think. Again, this is just my personal opinion, so you can disagree with me if you wish, if you please. And please let me know down below in the comments if you disagree, so I can better my stance for the future. But the way I see it, the West is failing in a lot of ways. I think porn is contributing to that. And the idea I have, I don't see it as much as men and women as I do consumer and producer. So there are producers of porn, you know, the top executives for these companies that actually make it and set it up. There's the actors and actresses who do it. There's OnlyFans models. There's, you know, a bunch of people in the industry who produce it. You know, I would consider all of them as producing pornographic content. And then there are consumers, which are the people who sit behind the screen and consume this stuff. Even sometimes pay premiums to watch this stuff. You know, throwing away their money to pleasure themselves. Which they know in the end that pleasuring yourself through pornographic content is not satisfying at all. But, so who is at fault here? The consumers or the producers? And I don't think it's as simple as saying it's one or the other. Again, there's a huge difference between people who produce it and people who consume it. I do think there's a difference between that. But at the same time, if you're a producer of pornographic content, you can't blame the consumers because you're making it. And then if you're a consumer, you can't blame the producers because you're consuming it. So I know a lot of like people who actually make the pornographic content and actually acknowledge that it's a problem. They would say, well, these people who consume porn, who are addicted to porn, mainly men, they're gonna watch videos anyway, porn videos anyway, regardless of if I produce any. So I might as well make my bag, right? And although that was partially true, it's kind of a cop-out answer. And the same way, people who are consuming porn and saying that these people who are making pornographic content are evil, you can't say that when you're consuming it yourself. And if you're a young guy, young man in America, average young guy, you are more than likely consuming pornographic content, maybe on a daily or at the very least weekly. So it is your fault too. You can't say all these big companies, oh, they're trying to make men weak when you're partaking in the porn itself, right? I mean, that's stupid. You cannot say that on one hand and then on the other hand consume the product that you're saying is evil. It doesn't make any sense. So again, how to fix this? It's going to take men, mainly men, because they're the ones who consume porn the most. It's going to take mainly men to step up and stop watching porn, you know, become a strong man, go to the gym, make money, attract women so you don't have to go to these apps and consume this content. It's going to take them to stop consuming it so much that the people who are producing it will take a hit and then they can't financially take care of themselves anymore, so they're going to have to get regular jobs, and which decreases the amount of porn being put out there. So all in all, I think, you know, if you're watching this video, you're probably a young man anyway. If you're consuming porn and you know it's bad, don't go on blaming the people who make pornographic content because there's no gain from that. There's no benefit from that. The best thing you can do is get on your grind, accept that it's your fault that porn is such a bad thing in America because you consume it. And it's people like you who consume it who are the problem. That's the more healthful, beneficial mindset to go along with. So, if you're a young man watching porn, you need to stop it first before you can point fingers at the people who make porn.